of the dangers coming toward him. The new Emperor has not entered the game without a plan. He knows that Orhan is rising fast and he is understand that if this rise is no stopped now, the Ottomans will become much stronger. For this reason, the Emperor move is not simple. He wants to put pressures on Orhan, break his confidence and force him to fight on difficult ground. But Orhan is not a man who waits for dangers with closed eyes. He sees the storm before it's reached his tent. He understands that the enemy is not only planning a normal attack. The enemy wants to surround him, divide his strength, and test his patience. This is where Orhan's real leadership begins to shine. A weak leader becomes angry when make mistake. A strong leader studies the enemy step and then answers with a smarter step. Orhan knows that the Emperor is watching him, but he also knows that he can not only defend. If he only waits, the enemy will choose the time and place of the war. So Orhan begins to create his own plan. His eyes are now on Iznik and Izmit. These places are not just names on a map, they are keys to power, roads to the future, and sign of a new Ottoman rise. If Osman can move toward this target with a clear strategy, then the enemy plan can turn against itself. The name also becomes very important. Is this new trick Orhan moved toward is not only a military action, it is a message. He is telling his enemy that the Ottoman state not be pushed back by fear. He is telling his soldiers that every sacrifice has a purpose. He is telling the place that the time of hesitations is over now. Every sword must be ready, every horse must be prepared, and every heart must be remembered. Why these struggles again? Orhan is not fighting for pride alone, he is fighting to open a path for a state that will stand beyond one man's life. But while Orhan is making plans against the Emperor and other dangers, rises for a place that hurts even more. Sahin's attack on Orhan unity brings deep pain. The attack on the Izmit side does not only create military damage, it creates loose anger and a fire inside Orhan hearts. Martyrs fall, and with every martyrs, Orhan's silence becomes heavier. He is not a man who forgets the blood of the soldiers. He is not a ruler who treats sacrifice life a small price. When his men fall, he carries that pain like a personal wound. This is why Sahin's move becomes a turning point. It is no longer only a political conflict, it becomes a matters of justice. Sahin's belief that force can shake Orhan's path. He thinks that if attack hard enough, Orhan will lose control, but this is where he may be making his biggest mistake. Orhan's anger is dangerous, but it is not blind. His pain can turn into strength. His grief can become strategy. When our leaders like Orhan loses his brave men, he does not run behind revenge without thinking. He waits, watches, and then strikes at the right time. The audience can feel that Sahin's attack will not remain unanswered. The only question is how heavy the answers will be. At the same time, the palace is not peaceful. While swords are being sharpened outside, hearts are being tested inside. The issue around Evron creates a new crisis in the palace. Evron is no longer just a warrior in the story. His name is now tied to honors, love, doubt, and trust. Sporka stands in the spot, but Nilüfer does not remain silent. The tensions between Nilüfer and Sporka becomes sharper because it is not only about Evron's It is also about trust, positions, pain, and the silence competitions inside the palace. Nilufar carries the weight of being Orhan's first love and a mother of his son. She has seen difficult days. She has fought battles with patience, loyalty, and faith, but now she feels that the palace is changing around her. As Porca presence is not easy for her. Every word between them carries hidden meaning. Every look has for behind it. Nilufar is not only angry, she is wounded. She feels that the trust must come out and she believes that Asporka's real face will be seen one day. This creates a very strong emotional track because the fight is not with swords, yet it can still damage the palace deeply. Asporka, on the other hand, is not a weak woman who will step back easily. She is clever, disciplined, and strong in her own way. She knows how to protect herself with words. She knows to she knows when to stay silent and when to answer. Her attitude toward Nilufar is not soft anymore. It feels like Asporka has reached a point where she does not want to ask for space. She wants to claim it. When she speaks about the possibility of having a child, her word hit Nilufar like a sharp arrow. This is not only a personal statement, it is a challenge. It means the palace balance can change at any moment. These palace tensions give the series a strong emotional layers. On one side, Orhan is preparing for war. On the other side, the women of the palace are fighting their own silent battles. The audience can see that a state is not built only a battlefield, it is also built inside homes, halls, families, and hearts. If the palace breaks from side, then the enemy outside becomes stronger. That is why the conflict between Nilufar and Asporka is not a side story, it is part of the main dangers. It can affect Orhan, mind, his family, and even the future of the dynasty. The track of Fatma and Yvonne brings another emotional storm. Fatma wants to move away from the palace because her heart is full of disappointment. She is not running because she is weak. She is trying to escape pain that has become too heavy for her, but the world outside the palace is not safe. Daphne and Yegit trap puts Fatma in serious danger. This trap is cruel because it uses her emotional state against her. She is already broken from inside, and then enemies push her into a deadly situation. If Ron is pulled into the same dangers because of Fatma, this is what makes her track emotional and intense. When loves become a weakness in the eyes of enemies, it also becomes a test of courage. If Ron cannot stay away when Fatma in its dangers, his heart take him toward the trap often before his mind can stop him. Soon both Fatima and Yvonne find themselves surrounded by flames and death. The scene has the feeling of a final test. Will their love survive, or will their story be left incomplete? Will Orhan reach them in time, or will this pain become another wound for her family? This part of the story works because it is not only about romance, it is about loyalty, sacrifice, and the price of love in a world full of enemies. Fatma Ibrons are not living in peaceful times. Their love is surrounded by politics, blood, revenge, and family pressures. Every step they take can become a risk. Every decision can turn into a trap. The latest update gives the feeling that their love story is reaching a very important point. Others, their bond will become stronger. Gives the feeling story reaches important. Either his bond will become stronger through fire or the same fire will separate them forever. Then comes Darshan's track, which adds even more pain to the story. Darshan is no longer only shown as a man caught between love and enemy blood. He stands before his brothers, demands with a changed identity. He is not just a captive, he is not just someone who can be used by others. He stands at Darshan's bay with his own honors, his own hearts, and his own courage. This confrontation with Imran is very important because it forces both brothers to face the trust blood connect them but ambitions divide them. Imran character becomes dangerous because his desires for power can push him toward cruelty. The biggest question is whether he can harm his own brother of his ambitions. This is the kind of questions that make historical drama powerful. It is only about This is the kind of questions that make historical drama powerful. It is not only about person is ready to lose of power. Darshan's strength comes from the fact that he is standing on the side of love and honors, while Imran is standing on the edge of selfish desire. Their clash can break a family, but it can also reveal the real face of both men. Helmi Payne is connected to this track. She waits for Darshan's but instead of peace, she may receive heartbreaking news. The fear around Darshan's fate becomes a deep emotional point. Helmi has already faced many stresses in her life. She is strong, but strength does not mean she cannot feel again pain. The idea that Darshan's may be lost or may not return safely can shake her deeply. Her love is not childish or simple, it is tried of struggles, belief, and loyalty. If Darshan's stories turns toward martyrdom or separation, aliens a world with change completely. This is why the coming episode feels heavy from all sides. Orhan has war in front of him. The palace has tension inside it. Fatma and everyone's are trapped between life and death. Darshan face the brothers. Halimi waits with fear. Nilufar and Sporka are moving toward a bigger clash. Sahin is burning everything because of his ambitions. The Emperor is moving with a wider plan. All these stories are different, but they are tied together by one main theme: the cost of building a state. Sultan Orhan's biggest challenge is not only defeating enemies, his bigger challenge is keeping everyone together while the storm grows. A ruler can win a battlefield and still lose peace inside his own wall. Orhan must protect his soldiers, manage the anger of his answers the attack of Sahinsas, watch the imperial plan, and also control the emotional fire inside the palace. This is very difficult test because every side demands a different kind of strength against the enemy. He needs a sword in the palace. He needs patience with his family. He needs fairness with his people. He needs hope. The latest update gives the feeling that Orhan is entering a stage where he must become more than a warrior. He must become a true state leader. A warrior wins with courage, but a state leader wins with visions. Orhan must think beyond today anger. He must think that about tomorrow borders, tomorrow justice, and tomorrow's name. His father Osman gave him a dream, but now Orhan must give that dream a shape. The tribe is not longer only searching for a place to alive, it is becoming a state with a mission. That this transformation is the soul of Krulus Orhan. The story is about a man standing between the past and the futures, behind him in the legacy of Ertugrul and Osman, in front of him the road toward greater Osman power, and but this road is not clean. It is fully of betrayal, sacrifice, family, pain, and dangerous enemies. The audience is not watching an easy rise, they are watching a difficult birth of power. Every new target brings a new enemy, every promise demands a sacrifice. Sahin's role in the face is very interesting phase. He is not only a outside villain, he has history, pride, and a strong sense of all traditions. He does not accept change easily. For him, Orhan new way may look dangerous. He wants power to remain in the hands of people like himself, but Orhan represents movement, expansions, and a bigger political mind. This creates a clash between the old orders and the state idea. Sahinsaz may think he is defending his own honor, but his actions are pushing him toward destruction. The imperial role is also important because he sees Orhan rise from a different angles. For Byzantium, Orhan is not just an other's border leader, he is becoming a serious threat. If Orhan takes stronger step toward balance of power will change. The Emperor knows this, so he tries to stop Orhan before it is too late. But the problem for the Emperor is that Orhan does not act like a small ruler. He studies the enemy, prepares carefully, and uses every move as part of a bigger plan. This makes the coming war feels very large. It is not only a battle between two armies, it is a battle between two futures. On one side, in the old empire, trying to protect what is still hold. On the other side is a rising state trying to open new doors. Orhan army may not have unlimited powers, but it will leave unity and a lead who understand that value of timing. The enemy has number and plans, but Orhan has purpose. In stories like this, purpose often becomes stronger than fear. Bursa also stands the heart of these tensions. There, the city is not only a place where people's lives, it is a symbol of victory, statehood, and emotional returns. When Fatima and others return safely to Bursa, the palace feels joy again, but joy just does not last without shadow. The same city that celebrated reunion must now prepare for total war. This contract makes the story powerful. One moment people are breathing with relief, the next moment they are preparing for blood and sacrifice. The joy around Fatima and Evron's also creates hope. Their unfinished story may finally move toward complexions, but it Krulus Orhan happiness never comes without a test. Just when love seems close to peace, enemies return with new trap. This keeps the audience emotionally connected. Viewers want to see them together, but the story keeps reminding us that love is this world must prove himself again and again. Evron innocence coming forward gives their bond a new chance, but danger still waits near them. Nilufar's pain after learning about Daphne's death adds another emotional layer. Even when a person is connected to conflict, loss still hurts. Nilufar may be angry, but the anger comes from grief and shock. The pain of losing a sister of someone close can reopen old wounds. Her anger turning towards Sporka makes sense within the palace tensions because she sees Sporka as part of the storm that has entered her life. Whether his anger will bring justice or create more damage is something the next part of the story will show. Asporka's position is complicated. She has run on past her own wound and her own reason. She is not a simple enemy in the palace. She is a woman who has lived between power and survival. Her decisions may look cold, but behind them in a mind trained by politics. This is why her clash with Nilufar is not ordinary jealousy. It is a clash of two different worlds. Nilufar stands with love, faith, and long loyalty. Asporka stands with discipline, pride, and survival. When these two energies meet, peace becomes difficult. Orhan must handle this palace storm carefully. It is chooses one side too openly. The other side has become more hurt. If we stay silent, the tensions may grow. This is the kind of problem that cannot be solved with a sword. It needs wisdom, it needs fairness, it needs emotional control. The audience will now watch whether Orhan can remain calm with his own palace becomes a battlefield of sword, tear, and silent anger. The latest update also gives a strong feeling that the season is moving toward a major turning point. The emotional of a final trailer creates the sense that the story is preparing for a big conclusion. This does not mean every problem will be solved easily. In fact, it means the opposite. Final episode often bring the heaviest losses, the biggest joys, and the most shocking turns. Orhan may win a victory, but the question is what he will lose before reaching it. For a faceless video, this track should be pretended as a story of pressure building from every side. The narrator should speak with suspense but not repeat the same idea again and again. The tone should be serious, emotional, and clear. The audience must feel that Orhan is standing at the center of a storm. Every character around him is carrying a different pain. Every enemy is preparing a different trap. Every promise is close to being tested. The opening of the video can begin with the idea that Sultan Orhan's greatest war is not only coming from the battlefield, it is coming from every direction at once. The Emperor wants to stop the rise. Sahin wants to break his strength. The palace is shaking with Nilufars and Asporka clash. Fatima and Ifron are surrounded by dangers. Halimi fears losing Darshan and Bursa, the heart of the new drama, is getting ready for one of the biggest battles it has ever seen. From her, the script should slowly explain each track without copying the official summary. It should not sound like a news article, it should sound like a dramatic narration. The focus should be on emotional motives and consequence instead of simply saying that Orhan will fight the enemy. The script should explain why this matters instead of only saying that Nilufar and Sporka argue. The script should explain the pain behind their world instead of only saying that Fatima is trapped. It should explain how love becomes a weakness that enemies use. The most important thing is to keep the script fresh. Every paragraph should move the story forward. Do not keep repeating that Orhan is a danger. So the danger is different ways. First show is different than period plan. Then through Sahin's attack, through the palace crisis, then through Fatima and Imran's, then through Darsans and Halimi. In the way the whole script will feel full of alive, not repetitive. Sultan Orhan characters should be written as calm but powerful. He should not sound like a man who only react. He should sound like a man who reads the game before others understand it. When the Emperor moves, Orhan plans. When Sahin's attack, Orhan remembers the martyrs and prepares justice. When the palace becomes tense, Orhan must show patience. This balance makes him a complete leader. He is not only a fighter, he is a builder of a future state. The section can close with a strong emotional hook. The audience should be left with the feeling that the next episode can change everything. Besides preparing for war, Orhan enemies are closing in. Love stories are standing in the edge of close. The palace is full of hidden fire, and Sultan Orhan is about to prove whether he can carry the heavy name given him by history. But now the question is not only whether Orhan will defeat his enemies. The real question is whether he can protect the dream of a state while every side tries to pull that dream apart. Sahin's betrayal and the blood price. The story of Kurulus Orhan now enters a darker road because the danger standing before Sultan Orhan is no longer only coming from the open enemy. A clear enemy is easier to face. When the Emperor spent his army, Orhan understands where the danger is coming from. When Byzantine soldiers prepare trap, Orhan can answer them with his sword, his arm, and his plan. But when the wounds come from someone who should have stood beside him, then the pain becomes deeper. This is the kind of pain Sahin's bring into the story. His actions do not feel like a simple political move, they feel like a betrayal written in blood. His attack is not only against Orhan's soldiers, it is against unity, trust, and the dream that was being built step by step. Sahin's mistake is that the sees Orhan rise as a threat of his own power. He does not look at Orhan power as the leader who is carrying the future of the state. He look at him as a man who is taking space, gaining respect, and becoming stronger than others. This jealousy slowly becomes poison. At first, it may look like pride, then it becomes anger. After that, it turns into open danger. A man who cannot control his pride can burn everything around him just to feel powerful too for one more day. This is the road Sahinsas is now walking. He thinks he is protecting his name, but he is actually destroying his honors with his own hands. Sultan Orhan understands that every state has enemy outside its borders. This is normal. A state that grows will always face resistance. Byzantine will never watch the Ottomans rise. Quality The Emperor will always look for a way to stop Orhan, but knew a man from the same world attack the unity of the Turks. The damage becomes more dangerous. Sahin's attack on the Izmit and side is not only a military strike, it is a wound opened inside the body of the same. Cues it gives the outside enemy to chance. Body of the same cause it gives the outside enemies, it weakens the line at the time while every chance it weaks the time and everyone should be standing shoulders to shoulders. This is why Orhan cannot ignore him. The blood of Metroidums change everything before blood is spilled. Leaders may still speak, they may still weak each and other, they may still warn each other, they may still look for paths that avoid destruction. But one brave man fall because of betrayal. Silence becomes impossible. Every betrayal has a family. Every fallen soldier had a mother, a wife, a child, a brother, or a friend waiting for him. And Sahin's attack that lives of Orhan man. He does not only attack an army, he attacks the heart of many homes. The cry of one mother can shake the whole place. The pain of window can become heavier than a mountain. Orhan knows this. He knows that the price of betrayal is not counted only in number, it is counted in tears. When the news reaches Orhan, his face may remain calm, but his heart begins to burn. A great leader does not always show his fire openly. Sometimes the strongest anger is the anger hidden behind silence. Orhan listens, watches, and thinks around him. The apes want a quick answer. Some of them want to ride immediately. Some want Sahin's punishment without delay. Their anger is natural because they they have lost brothers in arms. They have sharp bread battles, danger, and prayer with those trials. For them, this is personal, but Orhan must carry a heavier duty. He must feel the same pain and still think like a ruler. This is the difference between a warrior and a sultan. A warrior can run toward revenge with his sword. A sultan must ask what the revenge will cost. If Orhan acts only with anger, Sahinsaz will get exactly what he wants. The revenge will cost. If Orhan acts only with anger, Sahinsaz may get exactly what he wants. He may drag Orhan into a trap. He may weaken the army before the imperial attack. He may turn one wound into a larger disaster. Orhan knows that a wrong step can make the betrayal sacrifice heavier instead of honoring it, so he holds his anger like a sharp blade inside its cover. He will draw it only when the time is right. Sahinsaz, on the other hand, believes that he has shaken Orhan. He may think that the attack has created fear in the Ottoman camp. He may imagine that Orhan will now become confused, angry, and careless. But this is where Sahinsaz fails to understand that Orhan natures. Orhan is not leader who breaks under pressures. Pressures make him sharper. Pain makes him more careful, loss makes him more determined. Every attack against his become a lesson. Every betrayal show into him who must be trusted and who must be watched. Sahin think he has opened a wound, but he may have awakened a storm. The Smith has become a symbol. In the track, it is not only about land, it is about directions. Orhan eyes are on Isnik and Ismet because these palaces are important for the futures. They are connected to powers, movement, and control. Whoever holds this can the shape coming year. This is why Sahin's attack on his side is so meaningful. He is not simply attack on the side. He is not simply attacking random place. He is striking the road Orhan wants to open. He wants to show that Orhan cannot move forward freely. He wants to say that every step Orhan takes move forward freely. He wants to say that every step Orhan takes will be answers with blood. But Orhan hears a different message. He hears that the road is so important that enemies are already afraid of it. Inside the army, the mood changed after the attack. The camp is not built, not only filled with anger, it is filled with a heavy silence. Men who used to speak loudly now sit quietly near the fire. Some clean their sword without saying a word. Some look at empty saddles and remember the friend who will never ride again. Some try to hide their tears because they do not want to look weak, but grief is not weakness. Grief is proof. Love. These are not stone. They are men of faith, loyalty, and hearts. They know breathe. Death can more in one battles, but betrayals make death harder to accept. Orhan walks among them like a leader who understands their pain. He does not need long speeches at first. His presence itself is enough. When a ruler stands with the soldiers, after lose the soldiers remember why they follow him. Orhan does not stay far in comfort while his men bleed. The sharper these dangers, his sharper their sorrows. He knows their names. He sees their sacrifice. This is why his up do not only obey him because of his titles, they follow him because they believe he is one of them. He is their sultan, but he is also the man who carries their pain in his chest. The families of the martyrs make the betrayal every more emotional. When the bodies return, the sound of crying fills the air. Mother holds the cloth of their sons. Children do not fully understand why their father are not waking up. Wives stand with broken eyes trying to remain strong in front of their but breaking inside with every breath. These moments remind the audience that war is not only glory, it is not only victory. Music and shining sword. Bar leaves empty places or dinner tables. It leaves doors that no longer open for the same persons. It leaves names that are spoken with pride and pain together. Orhan knows that the must honors the martyrs is more than words. Anyone can say that betrayal will not be forgotten, but our true leaders prove it through actions. Justice must be done. The enemy must understand that the blood of Orhan men is not cheap. The state must show that betrayal will not be allowed to become a habit. If Sahin is not answered, others may become brave in the wrong way. They may think that Orhan patience is weakness. They may think that unity can be attacked without price. This cannot happen. Orhan answers must be strong enough to stop future's betrayal, but wise enough not to harm the larger missions. This is where the writing of Orhan characters become very powerful. He does not need to shout to look strong. His strength comes from control. When everyone wants fire, he hands the direct the flame. He does not put the fire out because the anger of the people is real and justified, but he does not let the fire burn the wrong place. He turns it toward a purpose. He gives grip into discipline. He changes range into preparations. He changes pain into a promise. The Hinsa's camp is very different. Their pride speaks louder than wisdom. Men close to me prize is attack and call it is a success. They may say that Orhan has been wounded. They may celebrate the confusions they think they have created, but deep inside the air sound Sciences is not clean victory against through betrayal and never give true space. It always creates fears, gives return spaces. It always creates fear. A man who spilled blood wrongly begins to fear the answers that will come. Even if Sciences hide it, he knows Orhan will not forget. He knows that a storm is coming. Even if he pretend to be calm, the strategy of Sahinsas is that he may still believe he is right. This makes him more dangerous. A man who knows he is doing wrong man stop one day, but a man who has convinced himself this is wrong actions is justice can go much future. Sahinsas can tell himself that Orhan is becoming too powerful. He can tell himself that he is protecting traditions. He can tell himself that the balance must be restored. But these are only covers for hours. Jealousy and ambitions deep inside, he cannot accept Orhan leadership. He cannot accept that the future is moving in a directions where he is not the center. The oldest power holders in many stories fear the young leaders who bring change. They say they are protecting orders, but they are often protecting their own seats. Sahins's action fit this idea. Orhan represents a new stage. The tribe is becoming a state. Small fights are turning into majors. Companions always are begin shape into a wider vision. This change needs discipline and loyalty, but people like Sahinsas do not want to follow someone else's plan. They want their own pride to decide the road. This is why the clash become unavoidable. For Orhan, the hardest part is that cannot allow personal angers to control state decisions. He may want to punish Sahinsas immediately. He may feel the weight of every trial calling for justice, but he also knows that the Emperor is watching. Byzantium's war, the troops divided. If Orhan and Sahinsas destroy each other fully at the wrong time, the Emperor will benefit. This is exactly the kind of moment where leadership is tested. Orhan must punish betrayal without giving the outside enemy an open road. He must show strength without losing strategy. He must protect honor without weakening the state. The consuls seen in the section should feel the tense and heavy. Orhan enters with a serious face. The bay ups and trusted men gathers around him. No one speaks lightly. The name of the betrayals are remembered. The attack is explained clearly. Some men demand immediate action. Orhan warm about the Empirical movement. One side speaks from pain, the other speaks from questions. Orhan listens to all of them. This makes them more respected because he can does not rules a man who fears advice. He allows different voices, but in the end, he chooses the path. In that moment, Orhan can say that no blood will be forgotten, but no sword will be wasted. These lines show his mind. He will not ignore his martyrdom, but he will not act foolishly. The audience feels that he is building an answer that is both emotional and strategic. He may alter spices to watch Sahin's movement. He may send selected ops to secure the weak point. He may strengthen the Smith road and prepare a counters move. He may also use Sahin's overconfidence against him. A proud enemy often exposes himself because he thinks he has already won. The idea of blood price is very important here. In historical drama, blood price does not always mean simple revenge. It means balance must be restored, wrong must be answered. The living must see that the dead were not a boredom. The enemy must see the cruelty brings consequence. Orhan blood price is not wild anger. It is justice shaped by leadership. He wants Sahinsas to understand that attacking Ottoman's unity is not a small mistake. It is a crime against the future. They are all supposed to protect. The emotional side of this section can also show Orhan alone at night after the councils and after the voices become silent, after the soldiers return to their tent. Orhan may stand outside and look at the dark sky. This quiet moment is important because leaders also feels pain when no is watching. He may remember Osman Ghazi teaching. He may remember his father's face, betrayal and enemies. He may think about the heavy road of statehood. He may ask himself how many more men must fall before the dream becomes safe. This does not make him weak, it makes him human. A strong script should show that Orhan's silence is not empty, it is full of enemy. Every lesson from the past speak to him. Osman Ghazi did not build his path without path. Ertugrul's Bay legacy was also born through test. Now Orhan stands in the same line. He cannot choose an easy life because his history has placed a heavy duty on his shoulders. If he steps back, the dream becomes smaller. If he moves forward, he must accept lose. This is the pain of leaders who build something bigger than themselves. In the palace, the news of Sahin's attack spread quickly. Women heard the name of the betrayal. Servants speak in low voices. The atmospheres become tight. Nilufars understand what this means for Orhan. She knows that when soldiers die, Orhan hers carries the burden. She may not always agree with everything happening in the palace, but she knows Orhan's soul. She knows he will not sleep peacefully after such news. Her worry is not only for the state. It is behind the titles. He knows that being a sultan can make a person lonely even when many people stand around him. Sporka also watches the situations carefully. She understands politics deeply. For her, Sahin's move is not only emotional betrayal, it is a power signal. She knows that if Orhan does not answer strongly, the palace balance may also change. People will begin to question his control. Enemy inside and outside may become stronger. As Porca mind works through consequence, she sees how one attack can create 10 more problems. This makes her spot for a fine response more practical than emotional. She may not speak like Nilufar, but she understands the danger is her own way. The palace women may have their own conflict, but Sahinsa's attack reminds everyone that the outside storm is too large to ignore. Even personal angers become smaller when the blood of the soldiers is fresh. But this does not mean palace tension disappears. Instead, it moves. Quality appears under the surface. Nilufar and Sporka may both understand the dangers, but they look at through different hurt. Nilufar sees Orhan pain, Sporka sees the state weakness. Both viewers matters and both can influence the coming decisions. Orhan's sons also become important in the emotional background. Even if they are still young, the world around them is teaching them what leadership cost. They see soldiers leaving or not returning. They hear names spoke with grief. They see their fathers carrying a face, but this is calm outside but heavy inside. This is how future leaders and sharpers they learn that power is not a throne alone. Power is responsibility. It is the ability to carry sadness without allowing sadness to destroy duty. Sahinsaz may try to justify his actions by speaking his own man. He may say that Orhan power must be limited. He may claim that he is stopping a dangerous rise. He may say that the land, the road should not fall under one commander. But these words cannot wash away the blood his enemy may cheers, but some among them feel fears. Not every man is Sahinsas, calm is blind. When men understand that attacking Orhan line at such time can open the door by Byzantine, some may wonder if fighters for justice for one man pride. This quiet doubt can become important later. The strong betrayal story works best when the betrayal begins to lose trust from the on side. Sahinsas powers may look strong first, but betrayal creates crack. Men follow leaders for many reasons. Some follow because of fear, some follow because of reward, some follow because of family ties. But the strongest loyalty comes from belief. If Sahinsa's man begins to question his belief, this his camp will not remain united forever. Orhan can use this. He cannot always need to defeat an enemy only these swords. Sometimes he can defeat him by exposing the trust. Orhan understand. Orhan counters plan should therefore be betrayal. First he secured the damage line. Second, the honors betrayals and strengthening morale. Third, he learned exactly who helped Sahinsas and where the attack came from. Fourth, he waited for the first moment to strike. This makes the story more intelligent. The audience should not feel that Orhan is only reacting. They should feel that he is turning betrayal is into a chance to clean the path ahead. The Izmit road can be shown as a dangerous but necessary road after the attack. Orhan may send scouts for forest hills and narrow path. Every movement is careful. The enemy may be hiding again. The sound of horses become tenses. A broken shield on the ground remind them of Alan's men are buried wagons. show how cruel the attack was. This visual detail make the narrations stronger. For a faceless video, the viewers can imagine the land without needing dialogue. The narrators can describe the cold wind, the silent roar, the marks of battles, and the anger in the eyes of the Aap. The Aap's loyalty must be written with emotions. One Aap may pick up the sword of a fallen friend and promise that it will not rust before justice is done. And other may remember the last word of a betrayal, and other may not be too angry to speak. These small human details make the script feel alive. Instead of saying again and again that can betrayals died, the script should show how their absence affect the living. Missing voices around the fire can hurt more than a long speech. Orhan may can families of the martyrs and promise that their loved ones did not fall for nothing. This can should be gentle, not loud. A ruler who can speak softly to a grieving mothers becomes greater than a rulers who only gives war wonders. Orhan can tell them their sons has written their name into the foundation of the state. He said that every stone of the futures will carry their sacrifice. He can promise that justice will come, but he will also ask them to pray for patience and victory. This shows the spiritual and emotional side of the story. The spiritual tone is also important because cruel stories often carries faith, destiny and sacrifice. Orhan's struggle is not shown only a political ambitions, it is connected a large belief. The betrayals are not described are lost in emptiness. The sacrifice is honored with faith. The soldiers do not fight only for land, they fight for justice, order, and future of their people. This meaning gives strength to the army. When men believe that the accused is larger than their own lives, fear loses power over them. Sahinsas cannot understand this fully because his fight is tied to pride. Pride gives short energy, but belief gives long strength. Pride can push a man into battles, but belief keeps a nation standing after loss. This is why Orhan's side has a deeper foundation. They hurt but not broken. They are angry but not lost. They are giving but until Sahinsas think blood will care them instead. Blood may make them stronger. The imperial role must remain in the background of the section like a shadow. While Orhan's Sahinsas are locked in tension, the imperial watching carefully. He know division is useful. He may not need to defeat Orhan directly. Is if Orhan on world weakness itself. This makes Sahinsas betrayal even more dangerous. Whatever Sahinsas accept it not. His action help enemy. The Emperor can send his spices to learn. He prepare, he can army. The Turks are busy with internal wounds. He can smile from a distance because betrayal he does part of the work. Orhan understands these angers better than enemy. That is why his angers are. This is why his answer to Sahinsas must also send a message to the Emperor. It must say that Ottoman's line is not broken. It must say that internal betrayal will be punished, but the main directions will not change. Orhan cannot allow the Emperor to believe that his mechanisms are now safe for Ottoman pressure. He must show that the dream is still alive, the road is still open, the state is still moving. A very strong part of these sections can be Orhan speaking to his Alps. Before the next move, his speech should not be too long, but it should be powerful. He can say that the enemy wants them to become blind and angered. He can say that betrayal does not ask them, becomes blind with anger. He can say that betrayals do not ask them for foolish revenge. They ask them for victory with honors. He can say that every man who fell on the Smith Road will be remembered when the Ottoman flag rises higher. He can remind them that betrayal is not the end of the road, it is not only a test place before men who are meant to carry a larger burden. The Alps respond not with empty shouting but with serious loyalty. They understand that their angers not has directions. They are led to ride, but they ride according to Orhan orders. This gives the army discipline. Discipline is what separates a state army for a group of energy. Man Orhan powers grow here because he proved that he can control not only land but hearts. Sciences may prepares for Orhan response by setting another trap. He knows Orhan cannot ignore the attack, so he may accept Orhan to come through a curtain road. He may place men in narrow passage. He may use false information. He may try to pull Orhan away from the main war directions. This makes Sahin's mind more dangerous. He is not only proud, he is also cunning, but cunning without wisdom can become self-destruction. If Orhan reads the trap, Sahin's plan will turn against him. Orhan intelligence network become important. Spies, loyal village traders and watched near the borders can bring information. A growing state needs eyes everywhere. Orhan cannot depend only on bravery. He must know where the enemy eats, where the sleep, where he hides weapon and which roads he trusts. These informations can decide the battles. Before sword meets the script can show how Orhan gathers small pieces of that and joined them like part of the map. Slowly Sahin's hidden plan becomes visible. This makes the coming confrontations exciting. The audience should feel that both sides are preparing. Sahin's thinks he has the advantage because the attack first. Orhan slowly take the advantage because they understand more. This creates suspense. The blood price will not come as a wild attack, it will come as carefully prepared answers. When it arrives, Sahin's will understand that Orhan's silence was never weakness, it was preparations. The moral difference between the two should be clear. Sahin's uses betrayals to gain positions. Orhan uses patience to protect justice. Sahin's soldiers are too for the pride. Orhan sees soldiers as men who lives matter. Sahin's create for among his own people. Orhan create trust among these followers. This contract makes Orhan stronger as the hero of the story. The audience does not only support him because he is the main character, they support him because his choices carry dignity. The blood price also affects Orhan personally. Every time he orders a response, he knows more men may die. This is the burden of commands. Revenge may sound simple from outside, but our leaders know that every decision sends real people into dangers. Orhan must punish Sahin's murder. He must also protect his own soldiers from unnecessary loss. This is why he chooses timing carefully. His goal is not to satisfy angers for one night. His goal is to secure that road for many years. In the middle of the tensions, Fatma and everyone's Track and connect emotionally if Fatma heard about the minstrels. She feels the danger of the world around them even more. If Ebron's will still trying to his names and prove his loyalty, Sahinsa's betrayals make him own struggle sharper in a world where betrayal is spreading. Loyalty becomes more valuable. Ebron must show that he is not a man who can be placed among traitors. His love for Fatma and his loyalty to Orhan become connected. He must fight not only for his heart but also for his honors. Nilufar and Sporka may can use Sahinsa's attack in their own arguments. Nilufar may say that the palace should not allow more divisions when enemies are already close. Sporka may answers that weakness inside the palace invites attack outside. Their words may be about Sahinsas, but under the surface they may speaking about themselves. This is how a good script connects different tracks. The same event creates different reaction in different hearts. Helmi worry for Darshan who becomes stronger in the shadow of his betrayal. If brothers and break and turns against each other, then no bond feels completely safe. Darshan facing Dimran's already show that blood relations can become painful. Sahinsa's betrayal add another example of how ambitions can break loyalty. Helmi may fears that the same darkness swelling others can also take Darshan away from her. Her pain becomes part of the larger them. When powers become more important than love and faith, families suffers first. The story should not make Sahinsas look weak too early. A strong villain make the hero struggle greater. Sahinsas should remain dangerous, proud and confident. He should have man rescues and influence. He should know the land well. He should understand all alliances. He should able to create problem for unexpected places. This make Orhan challenge more serious. If Sahinsas is too easy to defeat, the betrayals lose weight. If he strong when Orhan answers become more satisfying. Still, Sahinsas biggest weakness is ego. He cannot imagine that Orhan may be clever and smarter than him. He sees Orhan patience and hesitations, mercury and softness. He sees his respect for counsels as weakness, but these are exactly the families. These weakers Orhan stronger are leaders who silence learns more, are leaders who control anger survive longer, a leader who values people gain deeply loyalty. Sahinsas has force, but Orhan has foundation. As the section move forward, Orhan plan begins to take shape. He may not announce everything openly, only his most trusted man. Now he full decoration directions, his protection the plan from spices, the arms divided into group. One group secure the wounded line, another watch Sahinsas supply route, and other move quietly through the forest, and others stay visible to make the enemy think to Orhan is preparing a direct attack. This kind of layered strategy make the narrations more exciting and less repetitive. The enemy expect anger, so Orhan that him silence. The enemy accept a strength rod, So Orhan uses a hidden path. The enemy accept a loud attack. So Orhan prepare a quiet circle. This is how betrayal began to back on Sahin's house. The same confident and make him attack. Now make he scared as he think Orhan will come as a wounded lion. He does not realize Orhan is coming as a hunter who has already studied the mountain before the clash. The memory of the Metroidum should return. Orhan may visited the palace where they fell. He may stand there with a few trusted up. The ground is silent now, but the marks of battles remain. He may bend down, touches the earth, and say that this soil is taken the blood of the brave man. He may promise that his road he will not remain a road of sorrow. One day it will become a road of victory. This movement gives emotional power to the coming actions. The script should make the viewers feel that it says remembers fortress, hills, rivers, and road. Historical drama are not just background. They carry the echo of battles. The Izmit Road has now become a witness. It has seen betrayal, soon it will see justice. This style gives the narration a cinematic feeling while staying in easy English. Sahinsa's man may begins to hear rumors. Some may Orhan is gathering a large army. Orhan says Orhan is waiting because he is afraid. Others Orhan he sends secret men into hills. These rumors create nervous energy. Sainsaz may laugh in public, but privately he asks for more guard. This show that proud men feel fear when they know they have done wrong. Fear does not always shown as fact. Sometimes it shows in extra orders, sleepless night and sudden anger and servant. Orhan camp, however, becomes more united. The Metroid families have been honored. The Ab have been giving directions. The councils has accepted the plan. The palace knows that Orhan will not ignore the betrayals. This unity becomes Orhan's real strength. Before sword crash, he has already won one battle. He has stopped grief from turning into choice. He has burned it into purpose. The coming blood price should not be written as security. Orhan is not looking for meaningless destructions. He looks for justice. If Sahinsa's man surrenders, Orhan may prepare wars for Michaels, but the leaders of betrayal must answer. This makes Orhan fair. He does not punish blindly. He separates guilt from fear and betrayal from confusion. A true state cannot be built on uncontrolled revenge. It must be built on justice that people can trust. This is another reason other Orhan leadership feel larger than Sahinsas. Sahinsas attack and creates fear. Orhan judge and creates orders. People can live under orders, but they cannot live long under fear. Fear may silence people for a while, but justice wins heart for generations. Orhan dream needs hearts, not only swords. He was the enemy decisions today become a story. People tell tomorrow if the act with justice. His name grow in if he act with cruelty. He becomes like those he fight. The confrontations may begin with a small move. Orhan may captures one of Sahinsa's messengers. The message reveals that Sahinsas is planning another strike. This proved that the first attack was not an accident or a misunderstanding. It was part of a large plan. The discovered hardened Orhan decision. Now he proved now he can act only on emotions, but the evidence, the councils cannot deny it, the ops cannot be held back much longer. The blood price is close when Orhan announces the move. He does it calm authority. He does not speak like a man thirsty for blood. He speaks like a ruler closing a case. He says that betrayal was warmed, passion was shown, betrayals were buried and proved. He now arrived for his movement. Justice will pride this kind of language. Give the scene dignity. The audience should feel that a line has been crossed. Orhan give time for trust, and now trust demand actions. The right towards Sahin's positions should feel intense honor. Horses move through dust and wind, sword hang ready. The Alps are not shouting wildly, their silence is more frightening. Each man carries the memory of a fallen brothers. They ride not for gold, not for personal glory, but for the name left behind. This gives the sense emotional forces. The viewers can feel the weight of every beat. Sciences revealed that Orhan is moving. At first he may smile. He thinks the trap is ready. He believes Orhan is coming through the road the expected. But slowly reports become confusing. But one scout say Orhan main group in the front and others say Ottoman riders have been behind the hills and others say supply paths have been cut and others say come of Sahin's own men have despaired. The smile fades, the trappers begins to feel trapped. This reveal is very satisfying in the story. Sahin's wanting Orhan to walk blindly into dangers. Instead, Orhan surrounded the danger with passion. He does not only attack the body of Sahin's force, he attacks its confidence. Men who believe they are winning can fight strongly. Men who suddenly feel surrounded begins to doubt. Doubt weakens warm before sword even meet. When the first clash begins, it should be written with clear actions, but not too much gone. The Alps strike with discipline. They do not scatter. They move according to signal. Orhan orders travels quickly. Sahinsas may try to hold their line, but confusion spread. Some expected to attack for hiding, not defend from every side. Some begins to understand that Orhan knew more than they thought. The battles become a mirror. Sahinsas sees his own betrayal returning toward him. Orhan can face Sahinsas directly, but the timing should be earned before that. Orhan love man must break the outer shield. They fight through the dust. They call the name of the betrayals. Every strike feels like an answer, yet Orhan keep control. He does not allow men to harm the innocent to case useless targets. His eyes remains on the true source of betrayal. This keeps the battle focused. Sahinsas, when cornered, may still speak with pride. He may accuse Orhan of becoming too powerful. He may say that one should bow to one man. Dream. He may claim that he did what others were afraid to do. But Orhan's answer should be simple and strong. He can say that this never about bowing is to a man. It is about standing for a cause. He can tell Sahinsas that disagreements is not betrayal, but spilling the blood of brothers is a crime that cannot be forgiven lightly. This dialogue, even the written as narration for a fearless video, carries the heart of the sections. Orhan is not saying that everyone must agree with him. He is saying that there are lines no honorable man crosses. A bay may argue in councils, a warrior may question a plan, a leader may ask for proof, but no one has the right to step the unity of the people when the enemy stand at the gate. Sahin wrote that lines, the blood price may not end Sahin immediate death depending on how the story wants to continue. Sometimes a traitor's punishment is not instant. Sometimes he escapes wounded in pride and becomes more dangerous later. Sometimes he is captured and judged before the people. Sometimes he turns away from him for the sections. The strongest approach is to show Orhan winning the moral and strategic battles while leaving room from the next storm. Sahinsa should pay a price, but his shadow can still remain. If Sahinsa's escape, it should not feel like Orhan failed, it should feel like Orhan has broken his plan. He survived line, honored the martyrs, and exposed the betrayal. Sahinsaz may survive physically, but his image damaged. He is now on. He can be defeated. The Emirs not now. Orhan is not distracted easily. The Ottomans camp now. No, their Sultan keep his promise. This is a victory, even if the enemy breathe for another day. If Sahin Saz is captured, that section can focus on justice. Orhan can refuse to kill him in anger. Instead, he can say that a rules does not punish in darkness like a bandit. A ruler bring betrayal into the light. This would make Orhan look even stronger. He controls the movement completely. Sahinsaz wanted to drag him into the blind revenge, but Orhan chooses law, order, and public trust. Ether's versions were, but the emotional meaning must remain the same. Betrayal has a price. After the clash, the battlefield become quiet again. The anger on the ops cool into heavy breathing. Some are wounded, some sit ground, some took to word Orhan, waiting for his word. Orhan does not celebrate like a man who enjoy blood. He look at the cost. Even when justice is done, battles still take something from the souls. This makes the victory serious. The betrayal have been answered, but their absence remain. Justice can honor the road, but it can not bring them back. Orhan orders that the wounded be treated even among those who miles. This show his fairness. He may push the guilty, but he does not enjoy suffering. He may tell his men that purity is not strength. Strength is knowing when to stop. This is a very important leadership message. In separates Orhan justice from Sahinsa's violence. The state Orhan is building must be stronger than revenge. It must have mercury where mercury is deserved, and fairness when betrayal is proven. When the news returned to Bursa, the people breathed with relief. The betrayal family heard that Orhan did not forget them. Their pain does not despair, but their heart it finds some peace. They know hurt there. Some were treated are lost numbers. Their blood become a promise, and the promise was kept. This can create a beautiful emotional scene. A mother of martyrdoms may look toward the sky and pray for Orhan victory. A child may hold his victory father's word and heard that his father died as a brave man. These movements give emotional complexions to the sections. Inside the palace, Nilufars may feel proud and worried at the same time. proud because Orhan has protected honors, worried because every victory takes him deeper into dangers. She understands that this is not the end. Sahinsa's betrayal was only one flame in a large fire. The Emperor is still waiting. The palace is still tense. The road are still dangerous. But for one moment she can breathe because Orhan has shown that he is still standing strong. Sporka may read the result differently. She sees that Orhan authority has grown. The Bay will think twice before challenging him openly. The soldiers' loyalty will become deeper. The Emperor spices and carry troubling news back to their master. For Esporka, this is not only emotional justice, it is political strengthening. Orhan has turned a crisis into prove a leadership in the eyes of both friends and enemies. But with greater power come greater dangers. The Emperor will not like this. In the hope Sahinsa's attack will weaken Orhan, he will now understand that Orhan has become more united through pain. This may face the Emperor strike. He may send new message to secret allies. He may try to create and other divisions inside the palace or among the Bay. A strong response from the Orhan does not end the war in release the level of war. This is why Section 2 must end with both satisfaction and suspense. Sahinsa's betrayal has been answered, but the blood price has opened a new door. Orhan has shown his strength, but now every enemy knows that he cannot be easily broken. The Emperor will become more careful. Sahinsa's is still alive will become more bitter. The palace will continue to carry hidden tension. Fatima and Evron will still face the dangerous path. Darsan and Halimi pain will stand in the shadow. The story of moving forward, but space is still far away. The final tone of the section should remind the audience that Orhan Rise is not built with easy victories. It is built through tests that cut deep. Every betrayal teaches him who is true. Every betrayal teaches him the price of leadership. Every enemy teaches him to value of patience. And every victory brings him closer to the great dream. Sultan Orhan is not walking on a road of comfort. He is walking on a road where every step demands blood, wisdom, and sacrifice. Sahinsas thought that he could break Orhan by spilling the blood of his men, but he did not understand that some blood does not weaken a cause. Some blood waters it. Some blood makes the root stronger. Emitters of the Ismith road does not become a sigh of defeat. They become a call of unity. Their silence became louder than any speech. Their sacrifice gave Orhan army a new fire, not a fire of blind revenge, but a fire of justice. Now the people know that Sultan Orhan does not forget the Alps, know that brothers are honors. The palace know that the state still has strong, that the state has strong hand. The enemies know that every attack will be answered, and Sahinsas know whether he accepts is not. Then the man is tried to shake has only become firm. The palace blood price has begun, but the road ahead is still dark. Bursa is still preparing. The Emperor is still watching. The next war is coming closer with every sunrise. And the middle of this stand Orhan, carrying the grief of the martyrs, the angers of his Ab, the warrior of his family, and the future of rising state. His eyes are not only on revenge, his eyes are only the horizons, because our true Sultan does not fight only for today wound, he fights for toward tom- tomorrow's space. He fights so that the next generations will not live under fear. He fights so that betrayal will not come stronger than loyalty. He fights so that the dreams of Osman Ghazi does not stop on a bloody road but move forward until it becomes a state no enemy can ace. This is the power of Sultan Orhan's journey. His enemy think they are testing him, but every test is shaping him. Sahin's betrayal has given him pain, but it also gives his clarity. Now he knows that is the road Izmik and Iznit will not only by shocking Byzantine walls, it will also shock blocked by pride, jealousy and betrayal from those cannot accept this rise. Orhan must defeat all of them one by one, not only with the sword, with the wisdom. The coming day will not be easy. The Metroidum has been brewed, but their memory, right with the army, Sahin's name has become tried to betrayal, and that still will not wash and quality. The Emperor may try to use this wound again. The palace may face new storm. The people may be asked for new sacrifice, but the foundations has become stronger because Orhan has proved something very important. He has proved that he can feel pain without losing control. He can answer betrayal without becoming unjust. He can lead angry men without letting anger become their masters. This is why the blood price is not only Sahin's punishment, it is Orhan transformations. The attack on the Izmit side forced him to stand before grief, anger and dangers at the same time. He could have chosen blind revenge. He could rush into a trap. He could have allowed his army to burn everything in range, but he did not choose the harder path. Choose patience before actions, proof before punishment, and justice before cruelty. This is the mark of a ruler who is ready to build more than a camp. It is the mark of ruler who is ready to build a state. At the end of the section, the camera of the imagination should return the road where the mystery fell. The dust was settled. The broken weapon has been collected. The wound has been burned away. The answers has land sleep deep, but the silence is not empty. It holds a promises. One, the road will not be remembered only for betrayal. It will be remembered as a palace where Orhan patience becomes power, where the blood of brave men becomes the voice of justice, and where Sahin's learned that the Ottoman rib could be wounded but not broken. The next morning rises over Bursa with a heavy light. People wake up knowing that a new chapter has begun. The state has survived betrayal, but now it must face a greater storm. Orhan stands ready not because his heart is free from pain, but because he has expected pain as part of leadership. His sword is ready, but his mind is sharper than his sword. His enemies are many, but his purpose is clear. Sahin's has paid part of the blood price, yet the full cost of betrayal may still be waiting. And as the Emperor prepares his own move, the audience understand that Sultan Orhan's real war is the only getting bigger. The Nilufar and Sporka palace storm while Sultan Orhan stand before enemies outside the walls, and other storm begins to rise inside the palace. This storm does not come with horses, arrows, the open sword. It comes with silence, hidden pain, sharp sword, and heart that they are no longer at peace. The palace may look strong from the outsiders, but inside its halls, the air has become heavy. Every step feels careful, every look carries meanings, every small sentence can become the meaning of a new fight. This is the place where Nilufar and Sporka now stand against each other, not as two ordinary women, but as two powerful hearts connected to the Orhan life, his family, and the future of the state. Nilufar pain is all deep and quiet. He is not a woman who become important only because she stands close to Orhan. She has walked through hardship with him. She has seen his rise, his struggles, his worries, and his battles. She knows the man behind the titles. She knows when Orhan is silent because he is thinking, and when he is silent because his heart is wounded. Her place in the palace is not built only one love. It is built on history, sacrifice, motherhood, and loyalty. That is why a Sporka growing place where do not feel small. To her, it feels like a threat to everything she has carried for years. Nilufar is not simply jealousy, her anger is not childish. It comes fear from losing respect, fear from being pushed aside, and fear that the palace will forget which she has given. A woman who has stood beside a ruler through storm does not easily accept being treated like a shadow. Nilufar has own dignity, her own pain. She heard the sons, her memories, and her rights. She has looked at the Sporka. She does not only see another woman in the palace, she sees a new forces slowly entering the place where she once felt secure. Sporka is difficult from Nilufar in every way. Nilufar's strength comes from emotions, loyalty, and the wound of journey because Sporka's strength comes from control, intelligence, and careful thinking. She is not someone who opens her heart easily. She watches before speaking, she measures every word. She understands political spellers' behavior and the value of patience. She knows that power inside a palace does not always come from shouting. Sometimes power comes from staying calm when others loses control. Sometimes it comes from smiling when the other person expects anger. Sometimes it comes from saying only one sentence and allowing that sentence to burn in the other person's mind. This is why the clash between Nilufar and Sporka becomes so dangerous. Nilufar fight will feeling while Sporka fight will calculations. Nilufar speak from the heart while Sporka speak from the mind. Nilufar wants trust, loyalty, and respect to be seen clarity. Sporka wants such positions to be expected. Without beginning for it, both women are strong, but their strength move in different directions. When two strong people want spaces in the same place, peace becomes very difficult. The palace itself becomes like a silent witness to their conflict. Their wall have turns, prayers, carries promises, and secret. The same room where celebrations once happened now carry all tension. Servants move quietly, afraid to become part of the wrong conversations. Women in the palace watch every meeting between Nilufar and Sporka with careful eyes. No one says everything only openly, but everyone understands that something is changing. The palace has not broken yet, but cracks are appearing. Orhan rising power makes the palace even more important. When our leaders become stronger, everyone close to him also becoming part of power. This is not only about love, It is about influence, children, futures, heirs, alliances, and respect. Nilufer knows that very well as Porka knows it too. Both understand that the palace is not separate from the battlefield. Decisions made in private room can affect the future of the state. A word spoken near Orhan can change his mood. A conflict between women can disrupt the peace of the family. A child born into his place can change the balance of tomorrow. This is why Asporka words about having a child strike Nilufar deeply. A child is not only a child in a ruler palace, a child can become a king, a symbol of future possibility. Nilufar hears more than the word themselves. She heard challenge. She heard Asporka saying that her palace will not remain temporary. She heard the sound of a new future begins announced before her eyes. For Nilufar, this is not easy to accept. She has already given Orhan son. She has already carried the pain and responsibility of motherhood. Now the idea that Asporka may also enters that scared space feels like another wound. Asporka may not show open cruelty, but the calmness can feel cruel to Nilufar. Sometimes a quiet answer hurt more than a loud insult. Asporka eyes may remain steady, her voice may stop soft, but the meaning behind his word can be sharp. She knows that Nilufar is emotional, and she knows as emotional can mark a person's lose balance. So as Porka does not always need to attract directly. She can wait for Nilufar to show anger, and then she can look stronger by staying control. This makes Nilufar even more frustrated because she feels that Asporka is hiding behind calmness while creating pain. Nilufar, however, is not weak. Her anger is just inside it. She sees that others may ignore. She feels that the palace is changing in a dangerous way. She understands when someone's presence is not simple. His heart may be wounded, but it also alert. She believed that Asporka's real face will come from one day, and her wait for the trust to appear. Her biggest struggle is that must protect her dignity without letting anger make her look unfair. That is not easy when a person is hurt again and again. A patient becomes heavy. The death of Daphne adds another layer to Nilufar pain again and again. Nilufar loss can make a person softer, but it can also make them harder. When Nilufar hears painful news connected to someone from her blood or past, her heart becomes more restless. Grief does not stay in one corner, it spreads. It touches all around. It changes how a person sees everyone around them. Nilufar's sadness and anger begins to mix. She may look at Sporka and she not only a rival but only a sign of all that life. This make every meeting between them more dangerous. Sporka also carries her own past. She is not made for stone. She may look controlled, but control often side all round. A person who becomes skilled in palace political usually learns that skill through pain. Sporka may have learned long ago that showing weakness is dangerous. She may have learned that love alone is not enough to survive. She may believe that the does not protect himself, not one else will do it for her. This make her choice will do eyes of and others. but to her they may feel necessary. She does not want to be guest in Orhan life. She wants to be a permanent part of it. That desire make Nilufar uneasy. Nilufar knows the palace can change quickly. Today a woman is respected. Tomorrow can change, be forgotten. Today her world matters. Tomorrow someone else can take her place. Beside the rulers, the fear is not only persons, it is also connected to her children. A mother inside a palace thinks not only for herself, she thinks for the future of her sons. She thinks about how new alliances may affect their place. She thinks about whether another woman child could one day become a source of conflict. These fears may stay unspoken, but they have lived inside her heart. Orhan is caught between two worlds, or outside the faces Sahin's betrayal and the imperial plans. Inside the faces the emotional storm between Nilufar and Sporka. This is a different kind of war for him against enemy. He can give order, he can send soldiers, he can separate traps, but inside the palace every decision can wound someone he cares about. If he speaks too freely to Nilufar, her heart may break. If he ignores Sporka, he may create another kind of injustice. If he stays silent, both sides may become more angry. This is why palace conflict is often harder than battlefield conflict. A sword can cut an enemy, but it cannot easily repair a broken heart or harm no his even if he does not always show it. He carries the burden of being fair. He must protect the honor of Nilufar because she has a deep place in his life and place. He must also treat Sporka with respect because she is not a person without value or dignity. The problem is that fairness does not always satisfy pain. A wounded heart often wants more than justice. It would be to be understood. It wants to be chosen. It wants to feel safe again. Nilufar wants Orhan to see her pain without her having to explain everything. She wants him to understand that her anger is not only anger, it is fear, it is sadness, it is the ache of watching the palace change before the eyes. She wants him to remember the day when they fought together before all these new tensions enters their lives. She wants him to look at her not as someone who is complaining but as someone who is hurting. But Orhan, with all the weight on his shoulders, may not always notice every silent cry. This can make Nilufar feel even more alone. As Porka, on the other hand, may feel the always begin justice before she speaks. She may think that no matter how carefully she acts, Nilufar will seize as a danger. She may feel that she has proved that worth. Every day she may believe that the palace look at her with doubt, waiting for one mistake. This can make her more defense. The more Nilufar pushes becomes cold, the more Sporka becomes cold. The more Nilufar believes her doubts are true. These cycles slowly feed the storm. The women around the palace also play a quiet role. She Some may spot Niloufar because of her own plan and her own motherhood. Some may quietly admire Asporka because of her discipline and political mind. Orhan may stay Niloufar because they fear choosing the wrong side in a palace when fears silence can be a choice. Who stand near whom, who break be storm, who lower their eyes and who avoid our rooms and become sign. Nilufar noticed these things. Sign as Porca noticed them too. Their conflict spread beyond their own worlds and become part of palace life. This is the danger Orhan must stop before it becomes larger. If palace unity weakens, enemies outside can use it. The Imperial does not need to break the palace wall to hurt inside or already divided Sahin does not divide need to win. Every battle for Han on home become full of tension, internal divisions give courage to outside enemies. This is why Nilufar and Asporka conflict is not only emotional drama, it is a political danger. It can affect decisions making and the future of the destiny. Nilufar's strong weapon is her heart. She can look at Orhan and remind him on road that have weakened. She can speak about loyalty, sacrifice, and the pain of being slowly pushed aside. She can weather a woman she stood through hardship deserved to feel like a stranger in her own home. This world can shake because Orhan they are not empty. They come from years from her shared life. They come from her that life given much and not fair, losing everything as Porca's strongest weapon is her patience. She does not need to raise her voice. She can speak about respect, older her, and on right to stand with dignity. She can say that does not come the palace to the insulated. She can say that she can also our destiny and they can also the right to raise her. This world can also affect Orhan because they carry logic as Porca may not have. Nilufar long history with him but she has her own place in the present. Orhan cannot ignore that Nilufar becoming unfair. This creates a painful balance. Nilufar has the power of the past as Porca has the pressure of the present. Nilufar stands with memories and motherhood as Porca stands ambitions and upbringing belong. Nilufar fears losing what she can build as Porca fears never begin fully expected. Both are fighting for security, but because they stand against each other, their fight becomes destructive. If they could see each other fears, perhaps the storm would soften. But pride and pain do not allow that easily. The palace storm growth stronger than outside new bring new pressures when Orhan hears about attacks, military traps, and enemies' plan. The palace should become a palace of comfort. Instead, he finds more intention. This hurt him deeply, though he may hide it. A ruler fighters outside enemy needs pieces inside his home. But Orhan places now give him another battlefield. He may enter the room after hearing about an Asporka standing and cold faces in that moment. The audience can feel that heaviness of his life. Orhan may try to speak calmly. He may remind them that he is still standing before dangers and that personal conflict must not become stronger than duty. But this kind of hurt can both women in different way. Nilufar may feel as Porca that she is being asked to remain silent for the sake of peace. Orhan means to protect unity, but the moment she shows that difficult community becomes When hearts are already wounded, Nilufar's might answers that pieces cannot be built by ignoring trust. She may say that a palace cannot remain strong if it tries of hidden intention are allowed to grow. Her words are emotional, but they are carry warning. She does not want the palace to become a palace where everyone smiles while carrying knees behind their back. She wants opens trust, even if creates conflict. For Nilufar, pain spoken aloud is better than poison hidden in silence. As Porca may answers that no, every silence is that poisons and not every calm from face is marked. She may say that some people choose silence because they have learned to survive with dignity. She may ask why Nilufar sees every step for hers as a threat. These answers would make their conflict deeper because Sporka should not only defend herself, she would also question Nilufar's fear in doing her. She may touch the peoples where Nilufar hurts most. The emotional of children can make the situations explode. Nilufar's sons and pride and her hearts any hint that their futures could be challenged can Sporka may not even need to say much. Their thought itself, through it is destiny. Children are not only loved, they are watching. Their future can become a reason or a license. Jealousy and conflict. Nilufar understand that betters anyone. This is why she cannot threat Sporka possible child as simple blessing without fear, but the story should also show that Sporka decides of a child is not only political. She may truly want a place where her heart can rest. A child can mean love, belonging, and a future that cannot be easily taken away. It as Sporka feels also in the palace, the idea of a child may feel like protections against in lone lines. It may be her who creates rule in the palace where she still feels watches. This make her more human. This is not trying to challenge Nilufar. She is not only trying to secure her own heart. This is what makes the palace strong, beautiful. No one is completely empty of pain. Nilufar is not wrong to fear losing her palace. Sporka is not wrong to want dignity. Orhan is not wrong the want peace, but because each person sees on wounds first, the conflict ground in the real life and strong drama tragedy often comes from people who are fully evil but are trapped by fear, pride, and misunderstanding. The narration should represent Nilufar with sympathy. She is a woman who has have been tested many times. She has accepted dangers that many would not survive. She has given Orhan a family and door with patience in difficult days. Now she feels the ground shifting under the feet. His word may become sharp, but behind them is a heartbreaking. Not to forgotten, the audience should not be for see her only and angry, then should see the woman behind the anger. Sporka should also be written with depth. She is not just a rival entering the palace to create trouble. She is intelligent, proud, and determined to survive. She may have learned that kindness without strength. She may want affection, she does not beg for it. She may want acceptance, she refuses to look weak. This gives her character a strong edge. The audience may not always agree with her, but they cannot understand why she acts the way she does. The palace woman conflict can also reflect the changing world outside. The Ottoman state is growing, all relations are changing. New responsibility are entering the palace when a small principality becomes a large power. The family at its centers also change. Love becomes tied and politicals, marriage becomes tied or strategy. Children becomes tied to the future. Nilufar may long for simpler day of love and loyalty, while Asporka represents the more complex world of state power. This difference creates a beautiful contrast. Orhan heart is pulled between the simplicity of the past and the demand of the future. With Nilufar, the remember the old road, the pure struggle, he days when everything felt closer and more personal. With Esporga, he felt the present reality of statehood, alliance, and palace. Political, he cannot fully return to the past. But he cannot abandon ethers. This make his emotional positions difficult. He is not only managing two women, he is managing two chapters of his own life. A strong scene can show Nilufar standing alone after an argument. The palace around her may be quiet, but inside her heart there is noise. She remembers all day when she eyes carried only one kind of promise. She remembered danger, the face, prayers, the make and hopes they shared. She look at the present and see that everything has become more complicated. The man she loves is now a sultan. She is no longer belong only to the family. He times belong to the state. His attention is divided among war councils, enemies, allies, and palace responsibility. Nilufar understand that, but understanding does not remove pain. Another scenes can show Asporka in her own room. Also alone, she removed the mask for a moment. She her own tiredness. She knows everyone watches her. She knows Nilufar watching with not equally. She knows our mistake can be used against her. She may ask herself whether power is worth his long lines, but then gathers himself again because she has no choice. If she knows weakness, the palace will not protect her. She has become calm again, even harder than before. Then their private moment of the audience sees her woman side. When the woman meets again, the tension is stronger because both have spent time feeding their own through. Nilufar has remembered her wound. Sporka has through her defense. This next word may be polite on the surface but full of hidden meaning. Nilufar may ask about loyalty without directly accusing. Asporka may answer about dignity without directly attacking. The kind of sense is more powerful than open shouting because the viewers feel every word carrying two meanings. The servant may lower their eyes as they pass. The silence after each sentence becomes long. A cup placed on a table may shoot louder than normal. This is how palace drama should feel. Small details become heavy because emotions are hidden. A fearless video script can describe this clearly, helping the audience image the full scene. The narrations can say that is that room. Sword may not drawn, but the world were sharp enough to world. Orhan may hear about the argument later, not for women directly, but through the atmospheres around him. A ruler's softness around palace matters through changing behavior. He may notice that Nilufar is quieter. He may see Asporka speaking less is public. He may feel that people stop talking when he enters. This tells him that the matter is growing. He cannot ignore for forever, but choosing the right moment to act is difficult because outside enemies are already demanding his focus. This is where the palace storm becomes connected to Bursa. Coming war, Orhan needs unity. Before a major battle, his soldiers must know that the palace stands strong. His people must feel that their ruler's home is not divided. His enemy must not smell weakness, but Nilufar and Sporka conflict threatens his image if their tensions become public, if can become a weapons for enemies. Rumors travel faster than horses. Whispers inside the palace can reach enemy by nightfall. These dangers make the conflict urgent. The emperor may not know every detail, but his spies can earn rest. They may report that Orhan palace is not peaceful. They may say there is tension among the women, that Nilufar and Sporka do not trust each other, that Orhan is crying emotionally pressure. Such news can encourage the emperor. He may think that a man fighting inside his own home will be weaker outside. This is why Orhan must close the crack quickly. Our state enemies are always waiting for private pain to become public weakness. Sahin too could use palace tensions. A man who already attacks Orhan unity would not hesitate to use family conflict if it helps him. He may send words, rumor, or false messages to create more doubt. He may try to make Nilufar believe Sporka is plotting. He may try to make Sporka believe Nilufar is turning Orhan against her. A divided place is easiest to poison. This is why trust becomes very important. Without trust, every rumors look possible. Nilufar challenged him to perfect her own without becoming a tool for enemy game. Sporka challenges to protect her place without becoming cruel. Orhan challenges to protect both dignity and unity. Before the conflict becomes uncontrollable, each of them must choose whether pain will guide them or wisdom will guide them. The audience can feel that the palace storm is moving toward a breaking point. A powerful moment can come when Nilufar speaks as not a rival but as mother. She may say that no fears for herself, but she fears for the future of the sons and the peace of the palace. This reveals the deeper reasons behind his anger. She does not want her children to grow inside a palace full of hidden fight. She does not want them to learn suspicions before learn that courage. She does not want tomorrow brothers to become enemies because of today unresolved pain. This world can soften or even Orhan because they point toward the future. Sporka may also speak of the future. She may say that a palace cannot be ruled by old wound forever. She may say that person who enters life cannot be treated like an enemy. She may ask for a palace where she can stand without being attacked by memory. Her world may sound harsh to Nilufar, but they also carry trust. The future cannot be built if every new step, if judgment only bypass. This creates a painful but meaningful argument. Both women are speaking about the future, but they imagine differently. Orhan must then divide it. Then what kind of peace of Orhan is he? Palace, a false peace would mean asking everyone to stay silent while pain grows deeper. A real pain face turns into the open and setting clear boundaries. Orhan cannot simply that they women must stop. He may understand why they cannot stop. He must give Nilufar respect that calm her fear and give Sporka dignity that calm and her defense. This requires wisdom, not force. A strong Orhan could show him healing them into the same room, not to shame walls. Men are dying for the state inside these walls. No one has the right to weaken the home they are trying to protect. They may tell Nilufar that her palace and her sacrifice they are forgotten. May tell Sporka that her dignity will not be thrown into doubt without proof. He may say that from now on, neither past pain nor future ambitions will be allowed to burn the palace. This kind of speech should be calm and heavy. Orhan should not shout. His authority should come from trust. The woman may not become friend after his because real conflict does not disappear in one sense, but they may understand that Orhan has seized the dangers. Nilufar may feel slightly hurt, as Porka may feel slightly protected. And the storm may not end, but it pause, and sometimes a pause is enough for the next danger to enter. The next dangers can come through new news from outside. Just when the palace is trying to breathe, word arrive about enemy movement and other trap or troubles connected to Fatma. If Ron Darsens or Bursa, this remind everyone that their private conflict is happening during a time of public dangers. The palace cannot remain locked in personal pain while the whole state prepare of war. The women must divide whether they will continue fighting each other or stand between together when the enemy comes closer. Nilufar, despite her anger, has a strong sense of duty. When the state in the danger, she can place the person's pain aside at night for a time. She may help prepare the women, organize supplies, calm the children, and support the wounded. This shows the noble side. She is not only a wounded woman, she is only a woman of state. Her strength returns when she has survived purpose larger than their pain. The audience should feel that Nilufar's heart may be broken, but her courage is not. Sporka also has a role to play. She can use her intelligence to read political signs, understand involvement, movement, or help Orhan see hidden risks. She may notice that certain rumors are too perfectly placed, meaning someone is trying to create divisions. She may warn Orhan or take actions quietly. This allows her to become more than a palace rival. It shows that her mate can survive the state it returns. Well, this can make the audience respect her even they still feel to Nilufar. The best drama comes from when both women are useful to in different ways. Nilufar protects the emotional hurt to the palace. Sporka protects its political awareness. Nilufar keeps memory and loyalty alive. Sporka understands strategy and hidden dangers. Orhan need both kind of strength, but the strategy is that both women struggles to accept each other's value. If they could stand together, the palace would become stronger. But Orhan pain stand between them. Their strength often turns into weapons against each other. This section should slowly show the possibility of that trust may be Niloufar noticed Asporka doing something genuinely helpful for the palace. Maybe Asporka sees Niloufar comforting a betrayal child and understand the depth of her hurt. These moments do not have to create friendship. They only need to plant up if their angers when a person you dislike does something honorable, your heart it become less simple. This can make the future conflict more complex and more interesting. However, the story should not solve everything too soon. The bond between Nilufar and Asporka is too deep. One good moment cannot erase months of fear and pain. Nilufar may still believe Asporka has hidden intention. Asporka may still believe Nilufar will never accept her. Two difference is that both may begin to understand that the other is not weak. Respect can begin before love or trust, and his palace, even a small amount of respect can stop disasters. The audience will enjoy this conflict because it feels emotional and human. Battles are exciting, but palace sense show what power does to hurt. A ruler's home too is never fully private. Every personal wound can become political. Every relationship carry meaning. Every child, every marriage, every argument can accept the futures. Nilufar can Exporka are not fighting for small things. They are fighting over palace memory, futures, and in identity. This is why their conflict deserves a full section. Nilufar identity is tied to begins the woman who has walked with Orhan through the difficult road. If that identity is shaken, she feels lost. Asporka identity is tried to begin more than an outsider or a political figure. If the identity is denied, she became harder. Both women are asking the palace to recognize them. Nilufar said, "Do not forget what I have been." Asporka says, "Do not dare with I can become." Between these two statements, Orhan must build peace. The emotional climax of the section can come when Nilufar finally speaks directly to Exporka without hiding behind sharp hints. Can say that her anger is not because Exporka exists but because her arrival has changed the Exporka palace Nilufar called home. She can say that every woman who has loved deeply fear becoming a memory. She can admit that she can try to acting strong while feeling replacing. This kind of honesty would be powerful because it shows Nilufar valuability. Asporka could answer with surprising honesty of her own. She may say